You're listening to the SS Experience
You don't need to antagonize the government. You got enough enemies without them.
on SMG. Now streaming on the SMG Podcast Network app. Download it on all your Apple devices. What up, homies? You're listening to the SS Experience, now streaming on the SMG Podcast Network app. Download the SMG Podcast Network app on all your Apple devices. Android, I'm getting to you. All right, so today's show is going to be dope. As always, I like it. I like what we about to have going on. Shout out to everybody on the IG Live. Everybody jumping on the Zoom chat right here. Let's go ahead and make this thing happen. All right, so I got a lot. And I always say I got a lot, and I do have a lot. More black people being killed, but this time it's abroad. We're going to have a little bit of WWE talk. So once we get into the wrestling talk, if you want to basically do something else, I 100% respect it because wrestling isn't for everybody. We're going to preview. Before we get into that, I want to tease that last. Tory Lanez and 6ix9ine, we're going to do a new segment called Cancel Culture. Who the fuck needs to get up through between those two? I'll let y'all know about that in a minute. But I want to start with R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. If you don't know, he's the Black Panther. He's Jackie Robinson. He's Thurgood Marshall. He played a lot of influential dudes, and we just lost him yesterday, as a matter of fact. And again, I hate dating my podcast, but we lost him yesterday. I believe he was 42 years old. He died of cancer, and he had like a battle with cancer, so it's not like cancer just pulled up on him and killed him. He was battling this thing for 4 years. So what I wanted to do was, real quick, I didn't write this down, but as always, when shit comes to me in podcast form, in content creation, I just always run with it. So for the past 4 years, so since 2016-ish, he's been dealing with this cancer, and I believe it was colon cancer. So I want to pull up the movies that he was doing while he had a cancer, basically he was fighting cancer. And before we get into all of that, we're always going to do the tradition like none other. But let me just set this up real quick. Okay, so. Oh, damn, they got these movies everywhere. Like, these shit's not even in order. Okay. But I do have enough here. I do have enough here to just let you know all of the movies this dude did in the past 4 years while having cancer, while fighting through cancer. Like, I don't know if, he more than likely kept it to himself, but I don't know if other people knew that he had cancer. Because, you got to think, like, if you got cancer, am I booking you in all of these movies? Let's just pause that for a second. Let's get into the tradition like none other. And I know for the audio version, this is kind of annoying, but if you watch the video version, you know what I'm doing. I just got to keep talking through it because the audio version, you be thinking like, my stream is gone. What the fuck? Nah, we still streaming. Just had to stop for a second. That's it right there. That's the foof. Le foof. Oh, yeah. All right, so let's get into The movies, now I don't know if it's all of them because it's not in order, but I guess it gives his most popular movies and when it came out. Good foof. All right, so we all know his first solo movie, Black Panther, was 2 years ago in 2018. That was great for the culture. All black, not cast, but black directors, black producers, black writers. I think this Marvel was like the most African Americans in a movie, like together. I mean, you had Angela Bassett. Pretty much, you just say Angela Bassett, it's a wrap, man. She's the GOAT. So that's 2018. Now, a movie that a lot of people don't know about that I fuck with, it was a real dope movie called 21 Bridges. This movie came out in 2019. So I need to really think for a second, because when movies come out, movies are normally recorded like a year prior, give or take. You know what I'm saying? To give it time to, record and promo and all of that. So give or take a year. You know what I'm saying? Just give or take a year. So 21 Bridges came out in 2019. Story about a detective whose father was a detective but was murdered in the line of duty. Now, he's a badass detective. And some dudes rob a bank. Not rob a bank, excuse me. They rob basically the dope man, the dope man, the weed man. And they didn't steal all the weed because they didn't know that there was more weed in there. So it led into it, detectives like, wait a minute, they didn't take all the weed? Didn't know that, they must thought it was less weed in there. So then it takes place in New York. So the dudes go to Manhattan, and Chadwick Boseman's character, I forget his name, basically had the idea of close down the bridges because they're on the island, and action-packed movie from there. It was pretty dope. Now in 2000 and let me see, I said it's 2020. Okay, so 2014 is a little bit is past the 4 years that we're talking about with him fighting cancer. But Get On Up, he played James Brown. That was lit. Again, this is beyond the 4-year mark. 2013, he played Jackie Robinson. So a lot of the Marvel movies, for the most part, is when he was doing his thing with cancer. 2016, he was in Civil War. This was like the first time that we seen the character Black Panther in the Marvel universe, cinematic universe. So, he played a significant role in that. That kind of led the rollout to Black Panther and everything else. 2018, Avengers Infinity War, which is funny. I cracked the joke, but it was kind of like lighthearted. I was saying that if you watch the Marvel movies, when we all thought that, which we didn't really think, but if you just go by the story, when you thought that Killmonger had killed T'Challa in the battle to be the king, you're like, damn, that's fucked up. So then you go to Avengers Infinity War, which I wanted to bring it up. That came out in 2018. Black Panther disappears in the Thanos snap. So now you're thinking, damn, Black Panther, no. He ain't coming back this time. But let's move on, just in case that probably didn't hit people well. So in 2019, he was in Avengers Endgame, briefly because they had to snap him back to life. Oh, I forgot. They said he played him in a movie, and I didn't even know when it came out. So another biopic that Chadwick Boseman did, Thurgood Marshall, the movie Marshall, came out in 2017. So he played Jackie Robinson, James Brown, and Thurgood Marshall, and a king in a Marvel, universe. Chadwick Boseman as an actor played some significant roles. Now, could you say the movies were all that great? That's up to your opinion. But he did his thing in those movies, and it's very historic as well. showing black people doing their thing, as far as history goes, Thurgood Marshall, first black Chief Justice or Supreme Court Justice, excuse me. Jackie Robinson, first black Major League Baseball player. Get on up, James Brown. We don't have to say nothing about that, but I guess if you're younger, let me say something about James Brown. He made it cool to be loud, drunk, and belligerent. Like the music artists that you guys like now, that's always like fucked up, but they do good music. James Brown was that guy way before your Littles and your Youngs and all them motherfuckers y'all listen to now. So like I said, I don't want to make this too much of it down. I just wanted to, mention the movies that he's done while he had cancer, while having that diagnosis. Like I said, I don't know if everybody knew and they just handled him with kid gloves, or he just kept that to himself like a G. I don't know. But when I saw it I saw it on Instagram first, and I thought it was a joke. And I'm like, nah, man, let me go to Twitter real quick, because I get all my news from Twitter. And it took me a while to find it, and then I started seeing it, and then it started coming like, oh, man. Died at 42, 43. I guess I'll say it's probably more 42. It's 42. So, look, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. Sorry for the fams. Not even for the fams' loss, just for our losses. And again, I cracked a joke. I kind of try to make, fun or bring humor in certain situations like this. I just had one simple question. So we're not getting Black Panther 2? Just asking. I mean, sometimes they have the movies, like I said earlier, they have them pre-done already, and they just waiting to roll it out. So I'm just asking. Are we getting Black Panther 2? That'll be sad. It'll be lit, though. But that is what it is. All right, so coming up, we're going to go ahead and take a little break real quick. Verzuz, Brandy and Monica. That's going to be coming up. Well, from the time I'm recording, it's a few days. By the time you hear it, might be the next day or it might be the night. But either way, Verzuz with Brandy and Monica. Who wins? It's the SS Experience.
It's DJ 321 from the Carolinas. This is SMG.
You're listening to the SS Experience.
White people love that guy. That's his secret. Don't underestimate him.
On SMG. Now streaming on the SMG Podcast Network app. Download it on all your Apple devices. What up, homies? We back. We ain't leave. We just had to take a smoke break, which my whole show is pretty much a big smoke break. You're listening to the SS Experience, now streaming on the SMG Podcast Network app. Download the SMG Podcast Network app on all your Apple devices. Android, I'm getting to you. So, I want to get into some bullshit talk real quick. Just some bullshit. And this is the part of the podcast where if you're not a fan of this and you depends on how you're watching it. If you want to fast forward, you can. If you stuck listening to it, it's okay. I'll make it fun and interesting. The WWE. Now, I've been watching wrestling since I was, as they say, a little boy. Some people say I'm a little man, but when I was a young little boy, I used to watch wrestling. And for me, I didn't have, I didn't have cable as much when I was a kid, so, you got your 6-7 channels. Wrestling came on one of them on like a Saturday morning or like a Thursday type deal. Monday Night Raw, definitely not. That's why I'm more of a SmackDown guy. So I've always been into wrestling, and the way that my wrestling schedule works is when it's football season, then I don't watch Monday Night Raw because it comes on at the same time as Monday Night Football. So during football season, no Monday Night Raw. Now, being that we're in the modern time, we can just play it back and watch it again. But as far as live watching, without spoilers and shit from the gram and Twitter. Nah. Just didn't watch. It just kept it SmackDown on Fridays or Thursdays or Tuesdays, whichever, SmackDown always moved around, but Monday Night Raw stayed the same. Obviously, because it's Monday Night Raw. So I've always been into it, and then obviously in the summertime I'm more into it because you got your Summer Slams and all of the different, the other, pay-per-views that come out. So that's always a good time to be down with wrestling. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm only going to talk about one thing with wrestling. I normally there's a lot of shit, but there's one thing that happened in wrestling that like straight fucked my head up. And keep in mind, I'm grown. I know what wrestling is. I'm not that guy. But I do find entertainment in it. Like, I like to place bets. Like, if you know wrestling and you know how the flow of wrestling goes, you'd be like, all right, I think such and such is going to win. We all know what it is if you're grown. If your kids cover their ears, but we all know what it is. So I like to sometimes place a little bet to be like, okay, I think Sasha Banks is gonna win this one. That bet let me down a couple of times. Well, we won't get into that because I said I'm only going to get into one thing. I love you, Sasha. Mercedes. Y'all ain't know that, though. As a matter of fact, let's put that on the poll real quick. Did you know that Sasha Banks' real name is Mercedes? Put that on the poll at SMG Podnet. We need to get the followers up on that shit. So, this is the thing that fucked me up with wrestling. Let me tighten this blunt real quick. As a matter of fact, this might be the time for the Hennessy. Hennessy is like Red Bull when it comes to radio production. So, let's backtrack a little bit before we get into what fucks shit up. So, the last pay-per-view, and I'm sorry, I know the theme of it is anything can happen. Or not anything can happen. You'll never see it coming. So the SmackDown Championship, the Universal Championship, is fucking The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. He's kind of like this generation's Mankind, not on the cool, likable level, but just a multi-character level. So The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and fucking Braun Strowman, the Monster Among Men. That's a big dude. And I'm not saying that because I'm a small guy, but that's a big dude. Braun Strowman's big as fuck. Pause. But anyway. So they do their match. I would have placed a bet that Strowman would have won. He didn't. The Fiend won. And then it clicked in my head and I thought about it. Braun Strowman's storyline of being a champion and then being turned out by Bray Wyatt and him still being champion probably wasn't going to play too well, for real. Like, that storyline was going to get kind of stale a little bit. So The Fiend wins, Bray Wyatt. He got the chip. Like, he be about that business. He wants what he wants. He ain't going to stop killing shit or, messing with people until he gets what he wants. All of a sudden, just out the fucking blue, Roman Reigns comes out and just fucks everybody up. Now, Roman Reigns has cancer himself. I don't know the type of cancer, so I'm not going to speculate, but, he has the type of cancer that goes in and out. So he be in and out of remission. And right around the time of COVID, right around that time, he kept it a buck. Like, he didn't do it in a storyline to make it crazy. He just, hey, look, it came back. I got to fall back. And it's like, okay, cool. And I'll just get into this real quick. Like, Sami Zayn, like, where the fuck did you just come from for 4 months? That's why everybody looking at you like you crazy. So, Roman comes back. And you know how that goes. He's fighting for the belt because he never lost it. Because the second time, or the very first time, he had to give up the belt because he had the cancer. So, he never lost his belt. He never lost his championship, and rightfully so. It's like what we all say about Jordan. and what he said about himself in The Last Dance. You got to beat the champ. Nobody beat us for the belt. Nobody beat us. We just stopped. You know what I'm saying? So Roman is on that shit. Like, yo, I need that back. So now it's a 3-way match. This is where I want to get into the oh shit. So on SmackDown, again, don't like dating my podcast, but on SmackDown, some dude, I don't know his name, but he was with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was on the scene. And he had to get the signature. So he gets everybody's signature, then it comes to fucking what's dude name? Dude that we fucking talking about, Roman Reigns. And I'm sorry, like, this shit keeps fucking unraveling. Like, these stems and these fucking game leaves. I need y'all to do something about that shit. Like, cut the leaf out. And when you do that, I need to check his sponsorship. Shit's in the way. So fucking Roman Reigns is like, you know, he's fucking with him on the contract. You know, I ain't signing this shit just yet. You know, let me read. Let me feel what's up. Right when SmackDown's ending. He like, there's some things in the contract I don't fuck with, but what you gonna get for sure is, and they just basically say he's gonna win his belt and beat everybody ass. He turns to his left, and who is right there? That motherfucker Paul Heyman. Now, again, if you have watched wrestling in the past, we all know Paul Heyman's MO. Paul Heyman never brought out a guy that the crowd liked. From Kane to Brock Lesnar. He never brought out anybody, you know what I'm saying, that people like fucked with. Like, you might have fucked with the wrestler kind of sort of, and that's probably what's going to go on here. But nah. My name is Paul Heyman. And he's the advocate. You know, he was saying I'm the advocate for Brock Lesnar. Now he's the advocate for fucking Roman Reigns. Now, Roman Reigns has been a heel before, but he was a heel when he wasn't really known, when he was down with damn, I can't even think about it, but it was him, Seth Rollins, and the Shield. But that was low. That was a minute ago. I just want to know, how do y'all think that's gonna play out? Like, he's working with Paul Heyman now, and we all know Paul Heyman's MO. It's just like that real greaseball shit. So you got a dominant fighter, individual, you know what I'm saying, in Roman Reigns. And you got the shadiest dude in the game with Paul Heyman. How's that gonna work? Hit me up at SMG Podnet. You know, we need to get that shit up and going. You know, get them tweets and likes there. Shout out to everybody that's following everything else. And we just gotta. I just want to know, like, how you guys think that dynamic is gonna be, because I think, and I hope this doesn't happen, but I think Paul Heyman is gonna do a lot of, well, not a lot, excuse me. He's not gonna do as much talking with Roman Reigns. He could, but I got a feeling that because Roman Reigns is, excuse me, that type of individual. Like, he ain't no bitch. Like, he ain't gonna let a grown man just blatantly speak for him. Not to say that, you know, Brock Lesnar and others were, but fact check this for me, because I'm not sure. Because I'm not a historian like the way that I sound like it, because I'm trying to do it for a podcast to sound entertaining. But has Paul Heyman ever had a minority as his client? Anybody can let me know at SMG Podnet. We need to get that shit going. A little different dynamic. I'm not going to say it's because of the times that we're in now, but I mean, it's a good quote unquote horse to ride. That's all I want to know. And I'm not going to bore you guys with any more WWE talk because I might have just lost the 2 listeners that I just had. Coming up, Brandy Monica Verzuz. Who's going to win? It's an SS experience.
This is Kira from Atlanta, and this is SMG.
You're listening to the SS experience.
I take 200,000 and not a penny less.
I ain't giving this bitch a dime.
On SMG. Now streaming on the SMG Podcast Network app. Download it on all your Apple devices. Welcome back, homies. You're listening to the SS Experience, now streaming on the SMG Podcast Network app. Download the SMG Podcast Network app on all your Apple devices. Android, I'm getting to you. Moving on along, we had to go ahead and crack open a Hennessy bottle real quick. It's another tradition like none other. Took the shades off because, audio, you wouldn't have known that I had shades on. Video version, I got a red light, as you can basically tell. So I don't use the normal clear light. I kind of, when I be in a studio, I like to just see the red light. That means you're on, like on air. It's on. We out here. And unfortunately, it's the middle of the daytime. So that light right there, or that window right there, is going to spray hella fucking light in here and fuck up my camera view. So we're trying to make this shit work. All right, so look, right, I just want to get serious for like 1 second. I hate it when racist stuff goes on and white people say, well, go back to Africa. Pretty offensive, yes. I mean, I've never been to Africa before. My mother and father and my family has never been to Africa before. Why the hell would you tell me to go back to Africa? I mean, you want to tell me to go back to the hood? Okay. I mean, I haven't lived there, but all right, I can see that. If I'm in the country, you want to tell me to go back to New York City? I can see that. Country people, yeah, they don't like, smooth talk. White boys in Boston, whatever, go back down to where you came from. So that's cool. But to go back to Africa? Now, I'm saying all of that. Nobody said that to me, and nobody has said that to anybody that I've heard over that's been, said out into the universe. But I said that to say a teenager by the name of Nathaniel Julius was killed by police. He was shot in the chest while he was at the park. And he was in South Africa. So if I don't know the specific part of South Africa, the simple fact that I know that it's South Africa and just saying Africa, give me that much credit. But he was in South Africa. And what's been said was he gang violence and the police shot him while trying to apprehend someone else. I don't believe that shit. The teenager had Down syndrome. So he wasn't like you and I. He was different. And they shot him in the chest. And they said that they dragged his body in a white van. And, drove somewhere, did some crazy shit before, finding him or taking him to or what some crazy shit. I didn't get all into. I was just all the way offended. Because if you're white in America and you have the audacity to say, go back to Africa, after that shit, hell the fuck no, I'm not about to go to Africa. They doing the same exact shit over there than over here. Come on now. Like, we can't do that. We can't do that. Like, prayers out to his fam. It's just one of those things where we can't escape this shit. Like, if your skin is dark or, brown, well, not even dark or brown, because last episode we talked about how Indians, not the Native Americans, the Indians from India don't go through this, the Arabs, the Arabs at the bodega, some of them is just as dark as you and I, or darker. We don't really hear or see about them, just being murdered or shot. It's just the black people or the black skinned individuals that just, I guess, what look like us, looks like what, I don't know. I guess that doesn't look foreign. I guess the ones that, look like we could have been in the field 400 years ago. Maybe. I don't know. But I just wanted to give a little bit of light. I just wanted to say his name, Nathaniel Julius, because I don't know how y'all get that. Well, Nelson Mandela's from South Africa, so I kind of have an idea how they get down out there. They're the more modern, civilized country in Africa. They're not the ones who still ride elephants and do drive-bys with spears. So they're good, and they have civilization in South Africa. So I see how other countries do shit that happens to us, right? Can we keep it all the way a buck? When shit happens in other countries, we don't give a damn. Like, okay, George Floyd dies, right? People protesting all across the world, right? Shit happens like this in London, I can imagine. I mean, obviously, I just read a story about it happening in South Africa. That hit my timeline. Is everybody about to go, I ain't gonna say riot in the street, but, do a protest specifically for that individual? They'll say his name throughout some mass shit, but come on. We don't give a fuck as a country about other countries, and I love how they do give a fuck about us. So hopefully their media, their politicians and the individuals in his part of South Africa gets busy and get justice. That's my part of what I can do. I can say and hope for that. All right, coming up, we're going to do something else real quick. I want to play a game, and since I can't think of one, I'll probably do one randomly. Brandy, Monica Verzuz preview. Lot of heat and history in that. Who wins? It's SS Experience.
Yo. Check. All I know, who it is, your boy Stu the Wild.
Hey, it's Trey.
Nicki Minaj.
On SMG. You're listening to the SS Experience. What do you think about him musically, though, as a DJ? I mean, when you do be at places, do you hear his shit played?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nah.
That kills that. On SMG. Now streaming on the SMG Podcast Network app. Download it on all your Apple devices. It's the SS Experience. What up, homies? You can listen to the SS Experience on the SMG Podcast Network app. Download the SMG Podcast Network app on all your Apple devices. Android. I'm getting to you. I want to do a public service announcement real quick. And while doing that, I'm going to do a shameless plug. And this is how you pretty much do sponsorship, because it's just way better. I go a lot of places that you go to, they always require you to wear a mask. Like you go to your gas, like everywhere. And like the thing is that people, the workers, bug the fuck out when you walk in there without a mask. Now, this happens to me a couple of times on occasions. 99% of the time, I drive. The 1% that I walk, I may not have the mask because the mask is in the car. So I don't wear a mask in the house. But, wait, got the stuff? Yeah, I got the stuff. Where's that? It's in the car. So they bug out. Now, I believe that there may be some penalties for allowing people to walk into a store like without a mask. It's very, 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 very fucking crazy. And it's all about safety. So I don't know if you're on what side of politics when it comes to mask. Like, do you think that, I know most of my listeners probably think that coronavirus is a hoax anyway. That is just some Trump bullshit to just, keep everybody at bay so he can try to get back in office. Some of my listeners, I believe, looks at the science and knows that there's something fucking going on out here. So either way, we have to wear a mask because if you don't, you can't go anywhere. Just flat like that. So find one that you love, that you like. Keep it in your purse, keep it in your pocket, keep it in the car, and keep it moving from there. I hollered at my peoples at Creative Event Solutions with a K, Creative Event Solutions with a K on IG. Got me just a couple of regular masks. Now, how do I sound? Let me see. Let me put these on real quick. Okay, I still sound normal. Now, the thing about the mask is that normally you would do, like, if you have a good mask, you do the candle test, where you light a candle, and if you can blow out the candle, your mask is trash. Because obviously that means you can blow and, your coronavirus, if you have it, may go everywhere. So Creative Event Solutions with a K got me on deck with a mask, black, like pretty much everything that I wear, even though I'm wearing blue and red right now, but black goes with everything, as we all know. So we always do it like that. So they ship it out to you. You know what I'm saying? They out in Richmond. So if you're listening in Richmond, you ain't got to get it shipped. You can just probably pull up and get it. Everybody else in the 7, ATL, LA, not expensive at all. Ships it out to you, gets to you in like a couple of days. It's real dope. Good material. Like I said, if you do the blow test, you're not blowing out a candle. So everything, pretty much stays in here. Now, I had to do something a little extra. Now, this is like the mask. And I have another mask that's exactly like what I'm about to show you right now, but that's ducked off. So the different variations, and I didn't ask for this. I know y'all gonna be like, you lying your ass off. I swear to God, I did not ask for this. I just asked for a regular Philadelphia one because when I was looking at her guide, it was just an Eagles one because they different teams. Washington, I don't know what the hell y'all doing. If she has a fabric for y'all, great. I don't really care. That's trash. Giants, basically all your teams. I'm trashing the team, not the mask. So just for y'all to know, this is great right here. Super Bowl 52. Just had to remind you guys, just because. So this is like the face covering joint. So it's a little, more biggie, more. So get a mask, man. I mean, shit. Pretty much not the government is not telling you to, but the city officials and them dudes are. And it's not that fucking serious, for real, for real. It's about to be winter soon, too. Most times people got scarves on and all of that. Got a mask, man. Keep you nice and warm. But until then, it's hot. And I'm going to take this motherfucker off because the whole point of the podcast is basically predicated on me smoking and drinking and talking to you guys, and I can't do either with a mask. But hey, Creative Event Solutions with a K. If you can make me one with a slit and I can still, I'm just saying, let me know. And when you do make that, I need a check. Sponsorship. Let's get it. All right, coming up. Brandy, Monica, Verzuz. We finally get it. We're going to finally see The Boy Is Mine. Whose boy is it? It's the SS Experience.
This is Kira from Atlanta, and this is SMG.
You're listening to the SS Experience.
Who this nigga on that name?
On SMG. Now streaming on the SMG Podcast Network app. Download it on all your Apple devices. What up, homies? We back on the block with it. It's the SS Experience, now streaming on the SMG Podcast Network app. Download the SMG Podcast Network app on all your Apple devices. Android, I'm getting to you. I'm not really on cancel culture. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think cancel culture is the worst thing in the world, especially when, if you're 25, 26 years old, you go back into when somebody was 14, take a tweet and basically fuck up their career. That's trash. I don't like when you dig up shit, person said something, and then, basically cancel everything that they done, because you don't know what type of changes an individual has made from the point that you dug up that dirt or that dirt revealed itself to where that person is now, especially if you're talking about 10, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. You probably not. You probably not. You probably are, but you've been getting it since then, so you chilling. But for the most part, everybody has pretty much changed in the past 10 years. So I'm not really on cancel culture. Cancel culture is pretty much in the way for me. I mean, certain things should be canceled. But, for the most part, y'all know what I'm talking about. The type of cancel cultures that you be like, huh, really? And if I think of one off the top of my head, I'll give it to you. Like Matt Lauer cancel culture, hell yeah. You know what? I give you one, but I kind of don't want to get into the full debate about it unless people want to get on with me. The R. Kelly cancel culture. I'm not really on that one. If y'all want to, get back and forth with me on that one, we can have a little segment, whole shindig about it. Cool, I'm with you, but that's a cancel culture that I wasn't with and didn't want to participate in. But I can make an argument. If you want to say there's a first time for everything. You don't know it until you try it. So, okay. Let's try it. Let's try cancel culture. Let's rile up the people on social media, on Twitter, on IG, on the SMG Podcast Network app, on YouTube, on anything or any place that we put this shit on, for the very 10 of you or the 5 of you that'll be listening. That's a big gap. Nah, we ain't gonna edit that out. Keep that in. I don't care. For the very few of you, we can go ahead and rile up some cancel culture. So 6ix9ine did some fuck shit a couple of days ago. He went to Chicago's O Block. I forgot who cousin he paid homage to. So let me actually pull that up real quick, because this is supposed to be my forte of expertise, and yeah, kind of I don't care, but if I'm going to tell you guys about it, then yeah, guess we're going to have to. And shout out Twitter, by the way. Twitter knows everything. Which, again, I don't know why you guys don't be on Twitter, but to each his own. Everyone loves pictures and all that other stuff, too. I don't know what I'm watching. Okay, that's some digital shit. Okay. All right, I'm trying to get the real shit right here because I hate it when Okay, so it's Lil Reese Peoples. Okay. I knew everybody was gonna hate that nigga for that shit, for going out there trying to show love. Now the thing is that he did say something, basically like the killings need to stop and shit, which is like the one cool sentence that you can say. But the simple fact that he promoted his album after doing all of that shit, that's what, it's genius, right? Like, let's call a spade a spade. His marketing is genius. But that's the type of shit that gets you killed. So he was trolling Lil Durk. And Lil Durk is on fire right now, too. Like, everything he's been on has been dope. Like, that's right, it was Durk's murdered cousin. So, I've said it once and I said it again. I don't like reporting the news on 6ix9ine, but I only say shit in this sense because the shit that he does will always fucking get you killed. Me and my dude, Sweet Lick, on the episode took the trip up to 6-4. Or fucked up that episode of my own shit. Trip up 64. That's now streaming on the SMG Podcast Network app. Go ahead and download that. All the Apple devices, your iPads, your shit. Put on your computer if you can. I don't even know if you can do it, but yeah, put on your computer too. On the desktop. I mean the laptop. Which I don't even know. Do a lot of people even still have laptops, or is everybody on? Hey, put that on the poll real quick. Well, I'm gonna put that on the poll real quick. Laptops. Do people still use them? Now, obviously, I do because I do this, but I'm talking about the average regular person. I mean, you can do so much with a tablet, like real rap. Tablet has a keyboard on it. You can still type documents, send emails. Shit. Once the desktop became irrelevant, I'm like, oh yeah. Niggas gonna have computers on their wrist for real, or they gonna be the computer. That's that artificial intelligence, but we'll later though. So 6ix9ine is a dude that he has to go, man. I'm sorry. And it's not about hating about getting money. It's about influence. And it's not his fault, for real, because and this is kind of like the thing that they don't like to do with basketball. When you say don't say, well, what if LeBron played in Jordan's era, or what if Magic Johnson played today? Could he do the same shit or do more? So normally, even in sports, you don't like to do that. But in music, I don't care. I like to do it anyway. If there was no social media, there would be no 6ix9ine. Put that on a poll. If there was no social media, will there be 6ix9ine? Word that better, but run that. Because I don't think so. I mean, no shade to people who got on the internet. But shit, that was just you in your basement doing what you love. And, people found out and you bubbled. What about the people that had to actually go out on the streets and be in the face of the people and say, hey, I do this, support? And the support had to be $5 for a CD. Could 6ix9ine do that? No, not at all. I don't see anybody on the block right now saying, yo, I need that new 6ix9ine. You got that? No. And I'm not saying like, no, I don't, like, nobody has that. Like, no, no. That's not what's going on right now. But I've spoke about 6ix9ine a lot, so many times. And we all know the next cancel culture guy's Tory Lanez. You can't shoot a woman in the foot. Hey, Mom, told you I was going to not curse as much. But you just can't shoot a woman in the foot. and then perp about it and try to cry victim. I see more people going at 6ix9ine than going at Tory Lanez. And I thought that was kind of odd because there's one code as men that we follow universally, no matter who you are. I guess unless you're gay, because then you think you're a woman. But let's just say for the straight, regular guy like you and I, you don't hurt women and kids. Like that's just not a part of the protocol. Like that's just something that you don't do. And let me rephrase that because I don't want domestic violence people to say men hurt women all the time. So let me rephrase that. You don't pull out a pistol on women and children. You don't shoot women and kids. Like that is like man 101. That's like right before you come out of, that's like the book that they give you, like, you do not shoot women and kids. Now go out and be a man. And then you pop out and be a baby and you grow up. That's how long that shit's been embedded in men. You don't shoot women and kids. But he shot her. And I don't want to get into the story because we did that last time. So I want to get a cancel culture petition on both of them. Deport fucking Tory Lanez. 6ix9ine, can y'all look, people, can y'all stop streaming him? Because that's the only reason. See, Tory Lanez has good music. We can't deny that. But shooting a woman like beating up one in the car. Like, it's totally different. So, dude gotta go. You just can't have people thinking that that's cool. And come on, man, we always talk about justice and shit, right? So why is it that the law of law, written by, not commandments, but legislation and all of that shit, is rules that if you don't follow, there's a penalty. But the rules that most of us live by, if you break a rule, there's no formal penalty. If you catch them, there's a penalty. There's always a penalty. But if you duck off and be low and not held accountable for that shit, then what are we doing? Even the animals got accountability. So, cancel culture. I'm about that. Coming up, finally, Brandy, Monica. Who gets the boy? It's the SS Experience.
It's DJ 321 from the Carolinas. This is SMG.
You're listening to the SS Experience on SMG. Now streaming on the SMG Podcast Network app. Download it on all your Apple devices. What up, homies? We about to be at the end of this ride on the SS Experience. It's now streaming on the SMG Podcast Network app. Download the SMG Podcast Network app on all your Apple devices. Android, I'm getting to you. This cover is real dope, man. Monica, Brandy, Verzuz, Tyler Perry studio. 5 p.m. Pacific out there in LA, 8 on the East Coast for ATL and VA. This is a versus battle that it didn't come out earlier because it's women. You've had a lot of lopsided verses, and you had a couple of good ones, but a lot of them has been a little bit lopsided where you just like, oh, that one. Like, it wasn't like there was two and you like, I gotta really, get in my music bag and think about it. Brandy and Monica both have fucking hits. I'm trying to see if they got the list out for the songs that they're going to do. If not, they probably going to hold them shits off to the end, so we're going to have to do this the other way. I know Ross and 2 Chainz, they leaked that list. All right, well, fuck it then. We're just going to do this the journalistic way. Google. Because this is 2020. Like, we're all idiots, right? Nobody knows shit anymore. We just know what we want to know and find the information. So let's go to the A-Town real quick, man. Let's go holler at Monica. Let's go ahead and look at her catalog real quick. Probably something that if I did, pre-production, but I really don't. Damn, you're very bright in my face right now. That's better. Sorry for that long pause. Some of these songs, I'm like, wait a minute. And I had to think, like, damn, do I even know the name of all of the bangers? I know most of them, though. The Boy Is Mine doesn't count because that's both of their songs. I want to see how they play with that one. If it's whose verse you really liked in the song. Like, I think that'd be kind of dope. For You I Will off the Space Jam soundtrack, when like soundtracks had songs that was actually dope. Nah, man, that was just a bullshit list, man. Where's the real list at? And yeah, this is probably why post-production would be better. Well, not post-production, pre-production. But fuck it. Because I just don't want to start randomly, like, saying songs and shit, just reading off the list. Like, that's kind of, like, lame as fuck. But we all know the bangers, and you get 20 songs. So that's fucking a lot. 20 songs. And both of them have well beyond 20 songs. So it's easy to say that they're going to be songs that you don't hear in this that you thought would have been there because they have so much. And that's what makes the verses good, because you know or you don't know what they're going to play. You may have an idea of what they're going to play, but you don't have that exact idea because they have so much heat. Even Ross was like, I got 20 more. I have 20 more. So that means he won't repeat no song that he did against 2 Chainz. He has 20 more. And Brandy and Monica is the same way. I kind of feel like boxing. Like, if there was going to be like a part 2, they could do a part 2. I mean, if you just really want to milk this thing for what it's worth, especially if you have, like, just like boxing, you know how it is. There's a controversial ending type shit. Versus 2, 20 more. And they both have it. So, oh yeah, don't take it personal. We all know that. Before you walk out my life. Off the first joint. See, okay, so The Boy Is Mine was on Monica's first joint. So that was Brandy's second. Okay. Now I see why Brandy kind of has that Sunny type mentality, because she can't. Okay. I see you. Yeah, like in the early 2000s when they was doing that snap music shit every time the beat dropped. That was that lit in the A. Y'all know that. Okay, yeah, for you I will. Oh, they try albums too to make sure that you listen and know what's going on. Okay. Alright, let's go to I'm gonna do Brandy's catalog a little differently. I'm gonna actually go to where the music is. Cause I kinda didn't like what the internet just gave me. I feel more stupider after reading the internet. Brandy had a lot of dope tracks with Mace too. I think I think that should be like not highlighted, but just mentioned just because. I'm not going as far back with Brandy just of yet. That joint that she did with Kanye, that was fire. That Talk About Love. Maybe in post-production I might that'll take too much work for me. Sorry. I ain't getting paid for this yet, so. Shit, Brandy got some fire. Have You Ever almost doesn't count. I Want to Be Down, like, and I know that should have been one of the first songs to come to mind, but I got to see the list and then I know the song and I know the vibes. Like, I Want to Be Down, like in that early 90s, like I was a kid, so I can imagine the teenagers and the young adults at that time, you know, was bopping to that joint. I'm gonna do the same thing with Monica because I just feel like I did her a disservice. Sitting in My Room, doom, 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 doom. Like, video was dope too. Oh, Baby. All right, so I'm gonna do the Monica the same way. I'm not gonna do her like that. Like, I have my Atlanta constituents out there, and just like Trump, you kind of gotta fold to them. I love you guys anyway. Oh yeah, Before You Walk Out of My Life, Why I Love You So Much. I said Don't Take It Personal, that was fire. Now, just like Brandy in the early 2000s, or like mid 2000s, when she had All About Love, Monica was still having heat. Like I said, every time the beat dropped, Everything to Me. That's the joint with Chad Johnson in the video. Chad Johnson was trying to get his video guy money while playing out in the Natty. What up, Ocho? So even those 4 to 5 songs that I said amongst each other, you know, if I actually had wrote them on a piece, which might have been a better show if I would have just wrote them on a list and then be like, hey, which one's better? But this is all random, man. It was good. I mean, you pay me, then yeah, I can definitely do that. But if you just take those songs, you know, back and forth, those were dope, impactful songs with, you know, women in pain, women not knowing life yet, like all the different type of, you know, women stories, which a lot of people like don't give women rappers their credit, because I guess rap is more of a man's, but you can always appreciate a woman in art. Not too hard. So at SMG Pod Net, as a matter of fact, we're going to put this poll, because it's a big one, on all the platforms. SS_experience, SMG Pod Net, my joint E, 3Rs, Thang Dope. Who will win the verses? Brandy or Monica? Who gets the boy? Because that's going to be a dynamic too. Like, is The Boy Is Mine going to be off limits like nobody? Because it's not like it was a feature. Like, it was both of their songs equally. Like, it was on one album and it was on the other album. And it was the song that basically sold both of those albums at that time. So, yeah. Who gets The Boy? Brandy, Monica. Vote on all the social media handles. All right, well, shit, that's pretty much it, man. I got other shit to fucking do. I did what I had to do. I did my commitment for the culture and for the people. So you can always stream the SMG Podcast Network. Download the app. Android, I am really getting to you. I definitely want to get you guys on. But on all my social media links, I keep the streaming link right there. So you can just go ahead and just click it and just listen. Having an app is just way much better. It's way cooler. It looks way better. So, yeah, go ahead and get that app. Damn, I just saw Toni Braxton. Nobody wants heat with her. It's the SS Experience, man. I'll see y'all later.
Thank you for listening to the SS Experience. For exclusive and live content, download the SMG Podcast Network app.